Welcome to BDSM, Bloody, Dreadful, Shite, Movies.
This is Chris.
Hello there.
And some people say he has questionable taste in movies, so he's on a mission to find out if that's true, by seeing if he can find any pleasure by watching the most painfully bad movies he can find. He'll be scoring each movie based on 5 categories. 1. Did he find it entertaining in any way? 2. Did it have a good story idea? 3. Was it boring? 4. Will he ever watch it again? 5. Would he recommend anyone else to watch it?
Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Breathe easy.
Hello and welcome back to the BDSM Cinematic Dungeon.
Not a BDSM podcast.
I hope you're all well, and this time I'm continuing my journey back in time before the MCU was a glint in Disney's bank balance by watching Captain America 1979 and Captain America 1990. I'm going to let them battle in a 5-round civil war.
Slap me. You slap me, you stupid bitch.
The first combatant is Matt Salinger from 1990's Captain America, which has a rating of 3.2 out of 10 on IMDb and a runtime of 1 hour 37 minutes. It stars Matt Salinger.
Let's get those nerds!
Rodney Cox.
Pointed at Ed 209. Yes, sir.
Ned Beatty.
Mr. Luthor.
And Bill Mummy.
Morning, Will Robinson. Danger, danger.
It's directed by Albert Pooney, who also wrote and directed Jean-Claude Van Damme's Cyborg. The plot, according to IMDb, is...
During World War II, a brave, patriotic American soldier undergoes experiments to become a new super soldier, Captain America. Racing to Germany to sabotage the rockets of Nazi baddie Red Skull, Captain America winds up frozen until the 1990s. He reawakens to find that the Red Skull has changed identities and is now planning to kidnap the President of the United States.
Yeah, that sounds like a Captain America plot. And has reviews like this.
Spiggy Spig 2 writes, "There is no God. As the planet whirls toward the devastation of floods and earthquakes, famine, disease and war, I will remember the horrible onslaught this movie defecated into my memories and nightmares. This film will utterly lower your IQ. It is an assault on your intelligence and dignity as a human being. The Red Skull is not even the Red Skull. It's the Red Skull after plastic surgery to make him look human. I wonder if there is a category of movies that is below low budget. If even one actor in the movie could act, this film might be able to pass for a piece of crap. When all is done and I lay on my deathbed, I know these are 2 hours of my life I will never get back."
Jesus. He thinks it's worse than earthquakes, famine, disease and war. Bloody hell. Next.
Snakes on an African Plain writes, Captain America, 1990. Back in Marvel's early 90s days. This god-awful, pathetic, cheap, and cheesy film plagued the world. It's horrible. Not just the cheap costumes or poor makeup, which go so far as to give Captain America plastic ears to stop chafing. Captain America is the worst hero of all time. His greatest technique is pretending to be sick so that people get out of their cars. Very confusing, especially when the Red Skull is revealed to be Italian for some reason. It's also poorly shot, with one segment lit entirely with blue lights, like some dodgy porno. The shield throwing soon gets old, and even its camp charm couldn't keep my attention. I'd accept this from the 60s, but after the release of Burton's Batman, comic films should have known better. If this wasn't bad enough, some terrible song numbers are used to cause you to vomit.
I think Snakes really likes this one, really. Our second combatant is Reb Brown in the 1979's Captain America. It has a rating of 3.5 out of 10 on IMDb, which is slightly higher. and has a runtime of 1 hour 37 minutes, which is exactly the same runtime as the last one. It stars Red Brown, of course, Stephen Forrest, and Harry Johnson, and was directed by Rob Honeycomb, who directed various classic TV shows like The $6 Million Man, Scarecrow and Mrs. King, BJ and the Bear, and many more. The plot, according to IMDb, is...
When Steve Rogers, a commercial artist, is almost murdered by spies looking for his late father's secrets, he is saved in surgery when the flag formula is injected into him. This serum not only heals him, but gives him tremendous strength and lightning reflexes. To help Rogers retaliate against his attackers, a government agency equips him with a special motorcycle loaded with gadgets, including a detachable shield that's not only bulletproof, but can be thrown as a weapon. Thus, armed, he battles against the nation's enemies as the Sentinel of Liberty, Captain America.
That doesn't sound very Captain America-like, and has reviews like this.
Changing Shades writes, almost as bad as Hudson Hawk. Incredibly bad, horribly bad. Gee, gosh darn awful. Comic book movies by and large suck big time, suck a lot. But this movie makes them look like art house flicks. Yes, it was originally made for TV, but so was the Hulk movies, and those weren't anywhere near as wretched. The acting was stiffer than eager, but that wasn't the worst part. The action sequences would look bad even in the 20 AS, like 20. 30 thugs were knocked out without being touched, but that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the costumes. Nowadays, comic book movies are at least trying to look realistic when set against everyday clothes. This movie tried to have a spandexed superhero costume in keeping with the comic book. Looking at this costume, I would have preferred him naked. The costume did in fact have red, white and blue on it, but it looked closer to a leotard for a modern dancer than a superhero costume. Then there was the unsightly bulge. Ugh. 0 out of 10 disclaimer. Still not as bad as Hudson Hawk, but close. And if you read my reviews often, then that will give you a pretty good handle of what I think of this.
Almost as bad as Hudson Hawk. I have a funny thing with Hudson Hawk. I either hate it or properly like it. I can tolerate it. Maybe it has some entertaining moments. If we remember, it's a long time since I watched it. I might have to put that on the list. Next.
Alexander Davies writes, truly the pits. I wasn't expecting much from this attempt by Universal in making a feature-length pilot of the superhero Captain America. My initial doubts have been more than justified. Where do I begin? Whoever thought that the leading man could actually act must have been on another planet. Reb Brown is the worst or one of the worst so-called performers in the entertainment industry. All he is just some dumb beefcake who couldn't project any depth or emotion to save his life. Alarmingly poor. The rest of the cast I won't mention. The plot really drags along, and it made little sense. It shouldn't have taken so long for Steve Rogers to don the familiar Captain America costume, but this doesn't occur until about 65 minutes into the television film, for goodness sake. Even then, the costume looks completely wrong and bears little resemblance to the one designed for the comic book. There is no reference to the Second World War, because that was when Captain America's origin story began. Why wasn't the villain, the Red Skull, not included in this television film? He is synonymous with Captain America, just like Batman and the Joker, Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, etc. The action scenes are very lame and instantly forgettable.
Ooh. Sounds like it's going to be as bad as the 70s bloody Spider-Man movies. Oh well. Let's grab some popcorn and let these not-so-superheroes fight.
Where'd you get your guinea pig?
Happens to be the
best damn candidate out of 600 volunteers.
A secret experiment gave one man the strength of 100.
For the rest of the world, he's just codenamed Captain America.
And the power to save millions.
Your father developed and perfected the ultimate steroid. He called it FLAG, full latent ability gain. He injected himself with the serum, and it worked.
A top-secret serum gave Steve Rogers superpowers. Now he can use them to save a city from a madman with a bomb.
Finished.
If he accepts the challenge.
Be Captain America, Steve.
Oh, bloody hell, that was a long slog. And two very different takes on the same character. Let's get straight into the battle, shall we? 1. Which one was more entertaining? I'm definitely have to say 1990s is a lot more entertaining. In a way, I don't think the filmmakers intended. Steve Rogers goes from a man with a slight limp to a man in a red and white gimp suit. Yeah, he looks exactly the same before and after the super soldier serum. And his superpowers, he has the ability to look sick while driving in a car. So he jumps out. The person who's driving the car gets out as well and see how he is. And he jumps back in Captain America jumps into the car and he drives off, leaving them there. He does it about maybe 4 times in the film to various different people. It's got everything you need from what's it called? Captain America movie. Got the bad guy, Red Skull. It's entertaining. As for the 1979s, the entertaining bits are towards the end, like the last 10 to 15 minutes, when he finally suits up and he acts like a cross between Wonder Woman and Jesse Mark from Street Hawk. And all these superpowers. He jumps from the floor up to high buildings the same way as Spider-Man did in the last one, the reverse film. But he does. He looks exactly like bloody Wonder Woman from the old TV show. So it's definitely got to be 1990s is the more entertaining. 2. Which one had the better story? Definitely 1990s. It is a very just condensed Captain America origin story, while 1979 is just a very generic superhero light type thing. And he spends more time just wandering about, not being Captain America. So 1990 wins. 3. Which one was the least boring? Again, it definitely has to be 1990s. Correct sort of fair old pace. Silliness keeps you going. And the 1979 version just seemed like it went on for feckin' ever. Because like I said, it's all just, everything's at the end, not at the beginning. So there you go, 1990 wins again. 4. Will I ever watch one of these again? 1990s, yeah. It made me laugh. It's not high art, it's not bloody MCU worthy. It's generic, superhero-esque. But at least it's not boring. So I'll give it a go again. Unlike 1979's, which is just a slog. And I wouldn't touch it with a shitty stick. 5. Would I recommend anybody else to watch them? I'd just say, if you're interested in watching any of them, just give the 1979 one a miss. It's boring. Absolutely boring. No happens. And it's just basically shit. So all in all, 1990s Captain America is a cinematic kink, while 1979's is just a bland cinematic vanilla mess.
Sorry.
Thank God that's over.
Yep, never again.
So, with that over with, that's quite quick. I'm going to continue my journey into the not-so MCU with a double bill of Bill Bixby's Incredible Hulk movies. The ones with the other Marvel characters in them. First one is Incredible Hulk Returns with Thor. And the second is the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, which has Daredevil and the Kingpin in it. Kingpin played by John Rhys Davies.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, with that, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
If you would like to join Chris on his painful mission, then come and join the BDSM Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/BDS movies. Or you can contact the BDSM Dungeon by email bdsmpodmovie@gmail.com.
Free bagels.
If you want to force Chris into watching movie 43, you can donate at buymeacoffee.com/bloodydreadful. That's buymeacoffee.com/